As the series House of Guinness brings the family saga to TV, the real origin story is just as dramatic. A 9,000-year lease, a pickaxe showdown over water rights, a dynasty of 21 children, undercover anti-counterfeit raids, a harp that challenged a national emblem, medicinal stout, and message bottles that drifted for decades. Let's dive in. Number 1. The 9,000-year lease that started it all. On New Year's Eve, 1759, 34-year-old Arthur Guinness struck a truly unusual deal. He leased the abandoned St. James's Gate brewery in Dublin for 9,000 years. Not 9, not 90, straight into the 10th millennium. The terms were striking too, a £100 down payment and just £45 a year, a figure that hasn't changed for more than 260 years. The almost eternal lease was designed to shield the brewery and gave Arthur the confidence that his venture would outlive him by centuries. The original contract bearing his signature still resides in the company archives. Would anyone today dare sign a lease for 9,000 years? Number 2. The Water Fight, a brewer with a pickaxe. Arthur Guinness was relentless, especially about his brewery. In 1775, Dublin's City Council demanded a separate fee for spring water that flowed freely to St. James's Gate. Arthur was outraged. He believed water rights were already included in his lease. When officials sent the sheriff and workers to shut off the supply, Guinness exploded. He grabbed a pickaxe, threatened to cut his own channel to the river, and showered the intruders with choice curses. His stubbornness worked. The authorities backed down, and Arthur kept his free water. Legend says officials never again tried to wedge themselves between Guinness and the lifeblood of his stout. Would you defend your business with a pickaxe in hand? Number 3. 21 children, founding a dynasty. Beyond beer, Arthur Guinness was famous for the size of his family. With his wife, Olivia Whitmore, he fathered 21 children. Even for the 18th century, that's staggering. Only 10 reached adulthood, a high number for the era. That brood turned the surname into a dynasty. Children, sons-in-law, and grandchildren would run the brewery and scale it up. They transformed Guinness from a local Dublin ale into a global stout brand. In a sense, Arthur secured the empire not only with a 9,000-year lease, but also, quite literally, with his children. Can you imagine having 21 kids? Now that's a family approach to brand building. Number 4. Brother versus brother, heirs at war. Generations later, the family produced drama worthy of television. In 1868, the founder's grandson, Sir Benjamin Guinness, died, leaving Ireland's largest brewery to his 4 children. 2 sons, Arthur and Edward, were named co-managers. The family diarchy bred rivalry. The elder, Lord Arthur Guinness, pivoted to politics and won a seat in Parliament, only to have the 1868 election voided for bribery. The younger, Edward Guinness, focused on business. In 1876, at age 29, he bought out his brother and became sole owner. Under Edward, Guinness exploded in scale. By 1886, it produced about 1 million barrels a year and partially floated on the market at £6 million, making him the richest man in Ireland. Arthur stepped back and the Guinness empire consolidated under Edward. Expect this very real sibling conflict to anchor the House of Guinness storyline, a Game of Thrones for brewery power long before our time. Number 5. The Anti-Counterfeit Campaign, Guinness's secret agents. By the 19th century, Guinness was so renowned that grifters tried to cash in. The brewery didn't yet bottle its own beer. It shipped casks to pubs, where publicans bottled and labeled on their own. Some shady tavern keepers watered down or faked the stout, selling it as genuine Guinness. The company struck back. It hired covert inspectors, so-called travelers, who went pub to pub incognito, taking samples for lab tests. If analysis proved fakery or dilution, the culprit faced public humiliation, forced apologies printed in local and even national newspapers. Over 150 years ago, Guinness was already fiercely defending quality and reputation. Publicans learned fast, with black stout, counterfeiting would cost you, in money and in shame. Number 6. Harp versus State, a logo that shaped a nation's emblem. Guinness's logo is among the world's most recognizable, the Celtic harp. The brewery registered it as a trademark in 1876. Then came a twist. In 1922, the newly independent Irish state adopted the same harp as its official emblem. Legal collision. The harp trademark belonged to Guinness. Rather than fight a national icon in court, the government simply reversed the harp for official use. On Guinness bottles, the straight side faces left. On Ireland's coat of arms, it faces right. You can spot the difference on Irish euro coins and on Guinness labels. A beer brand, inadvertently, helped shape state symbolism, as if Ireland agreed to share its soul harp with Guinness. Number 7. Guinness saved my life. Beer as medicine. Guinness is good for you wasn't born in a vacuum. In the 19th century, dark stout was widely viewed as therapeutic. After Waterloo, 1815, a wounded British officer claimed he survived thanks to Guinness. A strong mug gave him the strength to recover. Soon, there were so many stories that doctors began prescribing Guinness. In the 1880s, the brewery even made a fortified invalid stout, richer in sugars, malts, and iron, recommended for convalescents. Well into the mid-20th century, physicians around the world touted Guinness for ailments from anemia and insomnia to nervous disorders, and Irish hospitals received free Guinness for patients into the 1970s. Modern medicine disagrees, but the healing beer legend became a marketing classic. Those vintage posters weren't joking. Number 8. The Guinness World Records began with a pub argument. Did you know the Guinness World Records book exists because of beer? In the 1950s, brewery director Sir Hugh Beaver noticed that pubgoers loved arguing over superlatives: fastest, tallest, strongest. To give Guinness authoritative swagger, leadership decided to publish a compendium of the world's most remarkable records, the ultimate tiebreaker for bar debates. In 1955, the first Guinness World Records edition landed and detonated. It became a runaway bestseller, then a global phenomenon in its own right, while still carrying the brewery's name. A marketing masterstroke. They turned casual pub spats into a worldwide ritual of record setting. Number 9. 200,000 ocean bottles, an ad campaign like no other. In the mid-20th century, Guinness launched a stunt worthy of the record book. In 1954, for the brewery's 195th anniversary, it created the Atlantis bracelet, casting 50,000 bottles with messages into the Atlantic, Indian, and Pacific Oceans. Inside, a letter from Guinness, part keepsake, part brand wink. 5 years later, in 1959, they doubled down. 38 ships around the world dropped another 150,000 bottles to mark the 200th anniversary. The first resurfaced in 3 months off Portugal. Then they washed up everywhere, on shores of Ireland and Britain, New Zealand, Africa, even California. Some drifted for decades. In 2015, one vintage bottle turned up off Canada after roughly 60 years at sea. Lucky finders were said to receive a trip to Dublin and the historic brewery. Guinness quite literally scattered its advertising across the oceans, leaving a trace on distant shores.